What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun Mean, and joining me as always is my partner in crime, Mr. Ciara Lawler.
How's it going, everyone? I just wanted to come in early this week and say I know this is a bold claim, but I'm putting our name down and I'm claiming us as the best podcast ever. I know all the votes have not been tallied, but now is the time to claim it. And so I'm coming in early. We're number one on iTunes. Joe Rogan, go fuck yourself.
That's true. Now, it's possible people might dispute that, but those people are wrong.
I'm just saying, if you claim early enough, eventually you have to be right.
Oh, okay, let me try that, actually, because I think that this is going to be the best episode of Hero or Zero we've ever had.
Oh, see, there are some flaws in the plan now, I've just realised.
No, he can't let me have anything.
So, this is Hero or Zero, Shaun. This is the show where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we just generally give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. I normally do DC. You do Marvel. So last week I did a DC character, which I'm sure was amazing, a bit robotic, if you will. Shaun, it is your week this week. It is Marvel. I'm very interested. Have you chosen a great character or an amazing character?
I have not chosen a Marvel character.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to really quickly not do that intro again, and I'm glad you didn't fucking tell me. Now I'm embarrassed.
There is egg on your face, sir.
I look like a fool.
No, the character I'm covering today is from Vertigo Comics, which is actually owned by DC.
This is true.
Technically, I'm on your turf.
Okay, this better be good.
It's very good, or as the kids say, V good. Huh?
Do the kids say that? What kids have you been talking to? Actually, no, don't answer that either.
Don't talk to kids. I don't talk to kids. I've never seen a kid.
I haven't. If the police come round your house, I've never seen a kid. I've never talked to a kid. I don't know what kids are. I actually don't know. I thought people are just born adults.
I am just unaware. No, I am covering V from V for Vendetta.
Oh, and what made you choose V from Vendetta? See, V from Vendetta. Oh, Jesus.
What made me choose V from V for Vendetta, you say?
Yeah, that's the question I'm asking, yes.
Well, yesterday was the 5th of November, and as we all know, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot.
Yes.
Which is quite central to the movie version of V for Vendetta. It's actually like December 22nd or something.
Okay, I'm
the
all
comic.
In. So V for Vendetta, a lot of people haven't seen that movie, so this might be an interesting just uptake on the character itself, especially if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, I'm sure there might be some things in here you already know, but from a comic book perspective, they might have changed some things for the movie as well.
That's very true, and I'll get into that at the end, actually, because it's quite interesting. But I'm going to kick off with the report. So V is the title character of the comic book series V for Vendetta, created by Alan Moore and David Lloyd. He is, and this is a heavy adjective to use right at the start.
Okay.
He is a mysterious anarchist, vigilante, and freedom fighter.
Mysterious anarchist.
Yeah, he is.
He's a quiet murderer.
He is, but he also loves a bit of showmanship. For those that don't know, he runs around in a Guy Fawkes mask and just like all black clothes.
Yeah, he would be a big fan of the scene in The Dark Knight Returns where there's a Batman symbol in the bridge in flames. He would be a massive fan of that.
A bit of pageantry. Yes.
If you're going to fuck shit up, you gotta let them know. A bit of glitz and glamour.
Yeah, and so his whole thing is that he looks to topple a totalitarian government of a dystopian United Kingdom through acts of heroism. Sounds pretty good. Pretty good.
Does he draw a Z at everywhere he goes?
No, you're thinking of Batman.
Oh yes, sorry. Of course.
So, and this is what I think is interesting. According to Alan Moore, V was designed to be morally ambiguous, so readers could decide for themselves whether he was actually a hero or just an insane man.
Okay, that's an interesting way to go about that, but it's also very hard to pull that off.
It is, and I think the movie is they very much fall on the side of he's a hero, don't they?
I think you have to. In movie form. Comic book is a little bit easier. You can be ambiguous, as you say, but like in a movie form, you have to have a protagonist and an antagonist.
This is true. This is very true. Now, this next sentence might put a bit of a scupper on the whole tell you the origin of a comic book character premise that we've set up, but V's background and identity are never revealed.
So far, so good. Now, you can follow us on Twitter. He is, at one point, an inmate at Lark Hill Resettlement Camp. And so this is one of many concentration camps where black people, Jews, leftists, beatniks, homosexuals and ethnic Irish are exterminated by Nurse Fire, which is a fascist dictatorship that rules Britain. Sounds... No, I'm not going to make that joke. It does not sound good.
Nothing about that is good. We can't stress that enough.
Even in joke form, that's a bit frowned upon.
While he is at the camp, he is part of a group of prisoners who are subjected to medical experimentation conducted by Dr. Delia Surridge.
Okay.
So bear that name in mind. And then Lewis Prothero is the camp's commandant, while Father Anthony Lillman is a paedophile who is also a vicar, and he is there to lend spiritual support.
I love that the paedophile came before the vicar in his job title.
I mean, which will he be remembered for?
Hi, I'm a paedophile, and on the side I do a bit of the god worship.
Everyone needs a side hustle, you know?
Side hustle is the big JC in the sky. Main hustle, kids, really, to be honest with you.
All prisoners who are part of the experimentation all die, with the sole exception of the man in room 5. Now, Connor, what is the Roman numeral for 5?
Triple X. Is this Vin Diesel in that cage?
Do you know what? It wasn't easy to make a joke out of that, but I'm proud of you, buddy.
Yes, it's V. I can count.
It is V. So as a result of the experiments, the man developed Olympic-level physical abilities and an incredibly expanded intellect.
Okay, so in my head, weirdly, I know obviously it's on a very, like a much grander scale, but it reminds me of Daredevil's, or not Daredevil, Deadpool's origin. Just in terms of, like, they tortured him and he was the only one that survived and his mutation came out. And he got powers
exactly.
from it.
He was the culmination of so much just trial and error that it eventually worked.
Okay.
So during the time he was in the internment camp, the man had a level of communication with a lady named Valerie Page. Now, Valerie was a former actress who was imprisoned by the dictatorship for being lesbian, and she was kept in room 4. And she wrote her entire autobiography on some toilet paper and pushed it through a hole in the wall for V to read so that someone would know her story.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's done really well in the film, actually, as well. That's one part I really, really like.
Played by Natalie Portman.
No, that's a different lady you're thinking of.
Oh, sorry. No,
Natalie
you're right.
Portman
Sorry,
plays someone else in the
story.
story.
No, you're right, yeah. Sorry.
So, over time, the man is allowed to grow roses and raise crops for camp officials. Because just for good behaviour, they say, look, let him have a garden.
Even though he's superpowered.
Even though he's superpowered. They're still studying him and testing him. So they just need something to keep him occupied, really.
Let's see how quick he can plant some strawberries. If he's superpowered. get the papers out, lads.
They're just there with a stopwatch. The man eventually starts taking surplus ammonia-based fertilizer back to his cell, where he arranges it in bizarre, intricate patterns on the floor.
Oh, no. This seems a bit creepy.
It is a little bit. He then takes a large amount of grease solvent from the gardens. In secret, the man uses the fertilizer and solvent to make mustard gas and napalm.
To make mustard. My burger tastes good now.
Just to liven up that ham sandwich.
These lunches are really bland.
On a stormy night.
Sorry.
So, December 23rd in the novel and November 5th in the film.
Okay.
He detonates his homemade bomb and escapes from his cell. Most of the camp is set ablaze and many of the guards are killed by the mustard gas. The camp is evacuated and eventually is closed down. After he left, he adopts the new identity of V and dons a Guy Fawkes mask and costume. He spends the next 5 years planning his revenge on Norsefire and building his secret base called the Shadow Gallery, which is the most badass name for a base ever.
Absolutely. No, actually, what about of Solitude?
Fortress of Solitude
Fortress
is pretty good.
Fortress of Solitude, I think, is a little better.
But if we were to name the recording studio there, Connor, what would we call it? The Fortress of Solitude or the Shadow Gallery?
The room for the cool guys.
That's true. The Cool Kids Club. No girls allowed.
Cool Kids a club. And we turned up one day. You're not allowed in. Shit! It's not fair.
We fired a bouncer. He deemed us unfit.
He looked at the list. You're not on the list. We're literally the only people. No, you're not on the list. Not with those shoes.
So after his escape from Lark Hill, V kills off most of the 40 surviving personnel, making each killing look like an accident.
Ah, okay. So it's a bit of active revenge, one by one picking them off.
Exactly. And then we break into kind of if we were looking at the story of V for Vendetta, it's the present day. Okay? So 4 years after he escapes from Lark Hill, V blows up the Old Bailey statue on Guy Fawkes Day. In the process, he stumbles across a lady named Evie Hammond as she's being accosted by several members of Norsefire's secret police. Yeah, and there's that brilliant speech by Hugo Weaving where he says all of the V's, all of the words beginning with V for like a minute.
Yeah, it's. I mean, whoever wrote that, fair play.
Yeah, and whoever said that, fair play.
Fair play. How many takes do you think it took?
I think he's a one taker.
I think Hugo does that one take and then he looks at the camera and says, "Lunch? Are we going to lunch?
We good here?
Are we done here? Because we better fucking be."
I think he was wearing a mask, so they could have just dubbed it over.
That actually makes a lot more sense. You pretended like he did everything on the set. He would have done a lot afterwards, I could only assume.
I would say so. After rescuing Evie from the ne'er-do-wells, he brings her back to his lair and starts training her to be his kind of Robin is a weird term to use, but accomplice, I suppose you'd call her.
Okay, so she's not in the Robin outfit. She doesn't have pixie boots.
No, not at this point in the story.
At this point, okay, sorry, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so V then kidnaps Prothero, who is now known as the voice of fate over the government's radio. You remember he was in charge of the camp, basically.
Yeah, so he would be the top dog. This weirdly, I just have other references, so for me, this is very X-Men First Class, when he's one by one picking off the Nazis that held him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just on the hunt the whole time.
He just has a list.
He has a list and he's crossing names off it. That's all he's about now.
And so he's at the big dog at the minute. Like, this is the man you really want to kill.
Yeah. He's one of several.
I mean, they kept him in a camp. Of course.
Yes. They did monstrous things to everyone he knew.
Yeah. And they ruined his strawberries. He planted them for ages.
He had a record time on those strawberries.
And they just kept docking seconds. Dickheads.
So, V drives Prothero insane by destroying his prized doll collection in the manner of all the exterminations that occurred at Lark Hill.
That's pretty good. I like the irony.
He then kills the vicar, who is now Bishop Lilliman. He's made bishop. This is
This is the paedophile who does the Jesus loving on the side.
That's true.
Yeah.
I neglected to mention the paedophile part the second time.
I actually didn't know who you were talking about when you said he killed the vicar. Because I was like, who's the vicar? I only know him as paedophile man.
As the paedophile vicar. So he kills him by forcing him to eat a communion wafer laced with cyanide.
Good. That's good.
And then he injects Dr. Delia Surridge. So Surridge was the one person in Larkhill who ever felt remorse for her actions. So he injects her with a poison that kills her without pain.
Yeah, so she still deserves to die, but less painfully than everybody else.
Yeah, like he's not about making people suffer if they don't deserve it. You know?
Although in fairness, they did do Nazi things to him.
Very Nazi things, correct.
Yes.
So, after this, V stages an attack on the government's propaganda broadcasting system. What he does, he straps himself up with explosives and forces the staff to follow his orders under threat of detonating them. So basically he holds an entire broadcasting station hostage. And he uses this time to broadcast a message to the people, telling them to take responsibility for themselves and rise up against their government.
The oppressors.
Yes, exactly. He then systematically kills the head officials of Northfire.
That's pretty good. I mean, that would normally do it.
It usually would. It usually would. Now, who he leaves alive is a man named Eric Finch, he's the head of like the police force. But V like sees him and is like, "Oh, this is a decent man. He's just doing his job."
Right. Okay.
And this is where like V's insanity and moral ambiguity really comes into it.
Because so far we're very much on his side because he's killing Nazis in the most basic way, and then he's got on the radio and said we should not let the Nazis rule us. So far, I'm with him. Where is this going to go wrong?
So after this, V radicalizes Evie. So what he does is he kidnaps and tortures her, leading her to believe that she is a prisoner in another one of the camps.
Right.
So he fakes an interrogation, and when she announces that she would rather die than inform on him, he reveals the ruse to her.
That's really fucked up.
That's fucked. He tortured that woman.
For no reason. For real. Because she's already on his side.
Exactly. Now, she initially condemns him, but she eventually comes to understand what he was trying to do and becomes his accomplice willingly.
Yeah, but that's because she has Stockholm Syndrome at that stage.
Yeah, and she's been tortured like hell.
You're going to side with the person who just tortured you.
So that they don't torture you again.
So there's either I agree with you or keep getting tortured. Well, you know what? I have an option for you.
I'm going to take door number A. So V explains to her that he is an anarchist in the most strict sense of the term, and he believes that all governments will eventually turn into oppressive fascist states. This was a bad week to pick this subject, wasn't it?
Oh, it's on the nose!
V's goal is not simply to overthrow the Northfire regime, but to destroy the organised state entirely. He hopes that from the rubble will emerge a utopian anarchistic society. The way he sums it up is not the land of take what you want, but the land of do as you please.
But are they not the same?
They're very similar when you think about it.
I think that sounds like something you'd read in a Christmas cracker. It's something that Jaden Smith would tweet. Like, it sounds deep, but when you read it, you're like, I think they're similar, though.
Yeah, and it's more of just like, as the graphic novel goes on, you start to realise V's views mightn't be entirely correct.
I was with him with the Nazi killing.
Oh, we were all with him with the Nazi killing.
But then he wants to basically eradicate the whole world, which is very similar to what the people were doing that he just killed.
Yes. Now, you've hit the nail on the head there.
Yes.
So, in the climax of the graphic novel, V destroys the government's CCTV surveillance buildings, eroding its control over British citizens.
Right.
However, V is mortally wounded when he is shot by Finch, the man he left alive from earlier.
Dickhead.
He's not so bad now.
To be fair.
To be fair, V was going to blow everyone up. So
yeah, so Finch now is kind of like, right, well, I was with you, but now you want to kill everyone.
Yeah, so I'm literally fighting the same problem here.
Like, you've taken away my plate full of shit and handed me another smaller plate full of shit.
But I still don't want to eat shit, V.
I don't, V. Fuck off.
So after V is shot, he staggers back to the Shadow Gallery.
Good.
Where he dies in Evie's arms. Evie then puts him in essentially, it's a Viking funeral in an underground train. So what he's done, he foresaw that he might die on that night. So what he did is he got the underground train ready. It was rigged with explosives. And then it stops under number 10 Downing Street.
Right,
which
so as
is
a
the office
last...
of the Prime Minister.
Yeah, as a last fuck you.
Yeah, and so Evie then sends this train off knowing full well what it's going to do, giving V a Viking funeral, and Evie then takes up the mantle of V.
And I think that's really interesting, but also, what does that leave for her to do?
Like, surely it just escalates, because it's every government now she's on the lookout for.
Now she's just like, you don't have to give me a bigger headache, V. I'll be honest with you, I had a much smaller plate of problems while you weren't blowing up number 10 Downing Street.
Yeah, like, it at a certain point, this novel turns from a man, like, fighting against injustice, and it basically turns into domestic terrorism.
Which is very interesting because, like, it's all, I'm sure, just, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, it's to reflect the real life of what would happen in that regard, that so easily you can be turned. You can have good ideals, but eventually your idea could get soured as well. As The Dark Knight said...
I was just about to do it.
The Dark Knight is... And that line, I'm sure, has been said many times in hundreds of different ways, but is like either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I think a comic book normally has a hard time showing that. Normally it's the villain's tale, but to do it from the hero's perspective and you see the downfall is something very interesting.
Yeah, and it's... I said I'd come back to it earlier, that Alan Moore was not happy with the portrayal of V in the film. Now, Alan Moore historically doesn't like the films that are made of his work.
Alan Moore hates a lot of things, though.
He really does. Yeah. He really does. The Grand Wizard Alan Moore, as he likes to be referred to.
Of course.
But his argument, I kind of get it, because it turned V from like a morally ambiguous, maybe madman with a clear goal, and it turned him into like a cape-wearing superhero who was fighting for the people.
And I think a lot of movies, you kind of have to do that in movie form, though. Whereas in the comic books themselves, you can be ambiguous because people are reading just for the story. Whereas if people go to the cinema, they want to feel like there's a start, middle and end. So like it ends and he's saved somebody. Or they'd have to end on something where he saves somebody rather than he blows shit up, and unless they're going to do a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. And in the movie as well, it's not just, V blows a lot of people up and it's fine. It's the people rise up against the government. Like, he radicalises the people to rise up, which is a much more idealised view of how to overthrow a dictatorship.
Yeah, and a lot of people are wearing cool masks.
Oh, those cool masks. They're very anonymous. So if we look at powers and abilities for V, then... Do
you have a powers and abilities rating here?
Oh, I do. He's not on the 1 to 7. That's
okay.
Not involved yet.
Okay.
But, he has superhuman strength, enhanced reflexes, enhanced intellect, superhuman stamina, super durability. he's able to take hundreds of bullets against his body armour, and it does little, if anything, to keep him down or impede his abilities.
Jesus.
Yeah. He has superhuman agility and superhuman speed. He's also skilled with demolitions. As you know, he was able to make a bomb from gardening supplies.
Yeah, and he made some mustard.
He's
good with condiments. Doesn't say it there, but I'm filling in the gaps.
Bit of sweet chili sauce over your noodles, sir.
He's the man you want when you have a hot dog. That's what I'll say.
That's all I'll say about me, and that's that.
I'm sitting back now, arms folded.
He's also skilled with firearms, hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, stealth, intimidation, charisma. He's a very charismatic figure.
Charisma? Is he The Rock?
He's able to just talk his way out of situations and into situations.
I don't think he strikes me as very charismatic.
You tell me Hugo Weaving isn't charismatic.
I think Hugo, I suppose, yeah. I mean, he did have to do a lot of torture on Evie to convince her.
That's a form of charisma.
Yeah, I've always seen The Rock torturing people. That's why they like him so much.
That's why they smelled what he was cooking.
Yeah, exactly. He was giving them literal plates of shit.
Very small ones, though.
Very small ones, yeah.
So he's also skilled in disguise and thievery as well.
Okay. But,
So
I mean,
is
he good at disguises, or does he just have one disguise?
He does have one really good disguise, but no one suspects that he's a man with horrific burns, you know?
I don't think you can get disguises if you only have one disguise. I think you gotta be a master of loads of them. I've only ever seen him in mainly one.
Well, like a master of the violin doesn't have to play every violin, just one.
But you wouldn't say Batman is good at disguises.
Batman is good at disguises.
He is. I've seen him in more disguises than I've seen V.
This is possible. This is possible. Who's a master of disguise?
He's good at disguise. Not disguises. He's good at one disguise.
He's good at one disguise. That's what I said. Disguise. He's skilled in disguise.
Yeah, but
here you go.
Go on.
He can impersonate others and disguise his voice. How about that?
Oh, that's okay. I'll give you that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think V, the movie itself, they do show him to be a lot more heroic, and I think that works for the movie. But of course, I don't think Alan Moore's going to be happy with that, because if you write the character a certain way, you want that to be seen on the big screen.
Yeah, exactly, and it all goes down to, like, he had a vision of what V was, and that's what ended up on the screen is different to that. I do think the movie is very well made. I think it's a very enjoyable thing to watch.
I kind of want to watch it now, to be honest with you.
I do a bit as well. Do you want to watch it together?
We'll watch it together. Come on. We'll put it on Patreon.
There's nothing stopping us.
Is there a global pandemic? What?
That could go into the hat for Patreon, actually.
We'll throw it in. V for Vendetta. Look, what's it worth? We'll pick one out. Also, I think Roisin, one of our patrons, Roisin, messaged us and said we have to do a Christmas episode for December, of course.
Yeah. So she suggested Jingle All the Way, and I'm all about that.
Now, that may give me the idea of everyone throwing all your Christmas movies, because I want to see what comes out of the hat.
We'll put him into a Santa hat. All the Christmas movies can be in the Santa hat, and all the regular movies can be in that top hat that I wear occasionally.
When you record.
I'm very fancy.
A little monocle, just in case.
Twiddling my moustache.
So is that it for Hero Zero this week, Shaun?
That is it, Connor. Would you like to take us out?
Yes, so you can, as I said, Roisin was on one of our Patreons, but if you want to contact us or give us any ideas or just get more interested in the podcast, if you want to support us in any way, you can head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. That link is underneath. For $5 a month you get an extra episode. That is our Lazarus Pit show, where we go back and review one comic book movie, I should say, that character, and we just see if it holds up. in any way. So, now last month we did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because the patrons have decided that just throw many movies at us and we put them all into the hat and we pick one out every single month. If you don't want to do that, you can support us on Twitter. It's at Heroes for Hire Pod. The 4 is the number 4 if you want to give us a follow there. Heroes for Hire Podcast, at Heroes for Hire Podcast on Instagram, at Heroes for Hire Podcast on Facebook. And if you could leave a like and review on iTunes or any whatever podcast app you're using right now to listen to this, just give us a review. That would really help us out. And most importantly, just tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one.
So I have been Ciara Lawler.
I've been Shaun Jamieson.
And we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.